this is the update on our newest headshot session, which we had, how long ago?
Oh, we're going back a month. Don't ask me how I know that.
We had those taken, and then we had to wait a little bit, and then we saw them, and so...
We were very underwhelmed is what I'll say.
That's a good word. That's a great word.
Yeah, we were underwhelmed.
Yes.
They were not exactly what we were hoping for.
They weren't, and there were kind of a lot. I think this one was more of not a learning, maybe a learning
experience. Walked away having learned something.
Yes, you should definitely meet with your photographer before you book the session.
Yes.
Definitely.
We learned that the hard way.
Yeah. And not that this photographer was a bad person or anything. It's just if you don't jive, if you don't really mesh and connect with the photographer, it's going to show in your headshots, like how uncomfortable or how...
Yeah, I think we just kind of, Venus and I had certain ideas of what we wanted, and our photographer had completely opposite ideas. So it was just kind of hard to balance the two.
Yeah.
I know you're trying not to say
I know,
anything.
It's hard to update.
Great person, just didn't capture us at our best, and the way that we wanted to be portrayed to confidently submit these headshots to casting directors.
Yeah, and I think one of the funny parts was, and I wish we would have known this before, is this photographer, of all the hundreds of headshots he took of us, was only going to give us a handful. And by handful, I mean less than 10.
Yeah.
So it was like we weren't getting to choose our own, and we weren't getting to, ask our acting coaches or our so-and-so or whatever to pick. It was like, here's what I think is best for you. We're stating the whole file of our headshots and letting us choose and letting us sift through. I mean, honestly, it's more work for the photographer to sift through and find the ones that are best for you than it is for you to get the whole file and pick your faves.
So what this photographer was going to do was pick less than 10 that he thought were good, and then we would get the opportunity to choose from those. But when you're paying hundreds of dollars for these pictures, that's not how it should go. Like Venus said, it makes their job so much easier that we like picture number 4817 and 5232. And now when I say you should get all your pictures, but you're only going to get 2 or 3 or however many looks you pay for to be edited nicely. You're not going to get all of those edited, obviously. Just the couple that you actually paid for.
Yeah. And sometimes when they send you all the files, they might just go ahead and delete the ones where you're blinking or where you just look funny, which is fine. That's normal. And then we let casting directors look at our photos. And if you have the opportunity for casting directors to view your headshots, that's really huge because they are the reason that you get the headshots taken in the first place. Yeah. But casting directors are so busy. So the fact that we had some, it was just a huge blessing that they would take the time to go through our hundreds of headshots and be like, yes, yes, no, no, no. And in fact, there were a lot of no, no, no's.
A lot.
A lot. Like, so many that it was like, use your old headshots.
Or get new ones.
Yeah.
Or painful to say, but yeah.
Yeah.
And we're so happy that these casting directors were honest with us.
Totally.
Because, imagine if they just sugarcoated it and didn't want to, offend us or something, and then we're using these headshots.
That don't do us any good.
Right. One of the casting directors, when I was talking to him, he just said we're much more lively and have much more personality, and our pictures didn't show that at all. And there was nothing behind our eyes. So that really wasn't captured in our session.
Yeah, and it could have been, partially our fault. Maybe we didn't have the right thoughts going on. But also lighting comes into play and comfort. Like, are you comfortable? And he said that we were very stiff. Like, he could tell in our demeanor that we just didn't look comfortable in our photos.
Yeah.
So, which I didn't feel comfortable, and I never do. But some photographers can put you at ease more than others.
So, we had talked about how we wanted one theatrical and one commercial. But unfortunately, our photographer really didn't want us to smile in our photos. So at least the majority of mine, I am not smiling in them. And then the casting director gave me the complete opposite advice. And he was like, no, you need a great smiling headshot. And I really don't have a great one out of, the pictures that this photographer took of me. So, right there, I don't have a great commercial headshot, which is a lot of the work I go out for in Austin is commercial work.
And it's interesting that the photographer will have totally different views than the casting director, because with mine, there's one where I'm wearing a jean jacket, and the photographer was like, I think these are your best ones, the jean jacket ones. When I was talking to the casting director, he was like, I didn't like any of those. They don't make sense with who you are.
Yeah, so we walked away learning a thing or two.
Yeah. Prior to headshots, as far as preparation and stuff, girls, be sure you know your time of month and don't schedule your headshots during the time where you're going to get, pimply maybe, or feeling bloated or whatever.
Yeah.
My time when I get more pimply and all that is about 5 to 7 days before I actually have my cycle. So keep that in mind when you're scheduling.
Yeah, and I think I had said in the other video, I had really wanted to get my eyebrows done, but I had left it too late, so I just didn't. And I just kind of filled them and tried to shape them as best I could myself, because you just don't want to, have redness or anything, because that will show up in your photo. And Venus was saying, not to color your hair right before you have a headshot session. It's kind of hard to say that 5 times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just no big changes like that.
Just because, one, you don't know if it's going to turn out the way you want it, but then also just going to the salon, I don't know why. I think I had just gone to go get my grays covered and a little trim and stuff, but for some reason, just going to the salon and having all that treatment done, my hair was not doing the same thing it does on a normal basis that I like. Mm-hmm. So it was really hard to get my hair to function during that other headshot session. So keep that in mind too.
Yeah.
Another thing to ask the photographer is if it's going to be mainly indoors or outdoors, because I've had a session where it was outdoors and I didn't know that. So all I was using was a tiny mirror to try to check everything and make sure that it's all good, and does this outfit even, and I couldn't see anything. So outdoor shots are good. They're great for lighting and all that, but Absolutely. Just know that. So you have a mirror or somebody else to help out. And Brittany and I, during this session, some of it was outdoors, and so she would be like, oh, you have a hair, or oh, your shirt.
I'm so thankful we did it together, at least for those things. Some of my photos have Venus's hand in it, and she's fixing my hair. It's so fun.
Yeah, but it had to be done because the photographer could, but they're holding this and they're taking the photo, and then to fix your hair, and then it's, I don't know. Yeah. When viewing, when checking out your headshots, don't use your family's opinion, because they see you in a different light than what a casting director, an acting coach, or your agent sees you as. So they see you as what's castable and what look goes best for you. When your family's like, oh, you look great in that. Plus, usually your family, if they're not like mine and Brittany's, they're like, you look great in everything. These are all beautiful. And mine and Brittany's moms are like, so I have to tell you what my mom said. Yeah. I was I showed her my headshots, and my mom's a very honest person. And she goes, she was looking at them, Venus, these are terrible. I did not know you could take a bad picture, but honey, these are awful. That's my mom.
You have to love a mom's honesty. And for me, I texted my mom one of the headshots, and I literally I got nothing back. Nothing. And so the saying, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So my mom said it all by saying nothing.
That's so funny.
Yeah, literally, and she doesn't do that. So I was like, oh dang, these are bad.
She got the picture.
Oh yeah. And you're expecting oh honey, you look beautiful.
Yeah. No. Or something oh, you got your headshots done.
Right. But again, Venus and I both prefer brutal honesty. Even if it's, not what you necessarily want to hear. I would much rather that than someone lie to me and be like, it's great.
Yeah, because Brittany said earlier, it's just going to waste your time if somebody tells you some fluff and you're using these headshots wondering why you're not either getting called in or booking or whatever. Yeah, just rather know from the get-go.
Very true. Yeah. And what was the other thing we wanted to talk about, just about cropping and putting your name?
Oh, yeah, I guess, you should figure out during your conversation, either have a phone conversation with this photographer or meet for coffee or go to their studio and check it out, blah, 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 before you book it. But ask them if they're going to do a border. Is that part of the package? Is that extra? Do they put your name? What does it look like? Ask to see an example of what they've done, because if it's not good, you want to know, or if it's not right, you want to know. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to ask for this stuff. You're paying. It's a service. You need to know what you're going to get before you pay for it.
Absolutely. Yep.
And looking at their headshots is not enough. That's what Brittany and I did.
Yeah. We thought we did. We emailed him our questions. We talked before the session, but sometimes you and a photographer just may not mesh, and you may have different ideas and just might not feel that comfortable or get distracted, and they just might not be able to capture what you want to come through, and that's kind of what happened with us this time, and it's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world by any means, so
just learning.
Yeah. It was a fun day though.
Yeah.
I had fun.
Me too.
Great person.
Oh yeah, great person. It just didn't work this time, and that's okay. There are many other photographers to try out.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So what are we gonna do now?
We're not sure.
Yeah.
I think what we're gonna try and do is pick the few that were the best ones out of our options, get them edited and cropped, and see if they're usable. And if not, take it away, Venus.
I don't know, because I even looked on our headshot photographers website to see if there was a money back guarantee thing or something. There's not. So I guess we're just out.
Right. Which is unfortunate, but you live and learn. What can you do? Yeah, that's a little recap on our headshot session. Headshot session.
Headshot session.
How come you can say it so fast?
I have no idea.
Headshot session. Headshot session.